It's DBJ, going to do another BBTM, Bring Back the Magic, and this one's about wind. High winds. Again, you wanna foreshadow this in your game. So you want to say, hey, there's a storm on the horizon. The winds are starting to pick up. Maybe they're in a village, and somebody there says, I don't know about you guys, but I can really tell there's a storm that's going to come. Maybe the ranger or druid, more in tune with the weather, they know that a tornado, hurricane, derecho is coming through, something like that, right? So you foreshadow it before the game starts, or foreshadow it during the campaign or whatever. And when things get boring, pull it out of your back pocket and go, man, they're fighting the same creatures over and over again. There's nothing new to it. Bam, you pull it out, the winds just start up. Wind is a strange thing because it doesn't really affect initially doesn't affect your vision, but it can very dramatically affect like ranged combat, making it almost impossible, right? Especially with physical things like throwing daggers, using a sling, using crossbows, and using a bow, using an alchemist character tossing something through the air could really have a dramatic effect on that. I would even say that it probably goes so far as to it could blow a fireball away, off range or off target. A character tries to pull a scroll out and it may get ripped out of their hands. And how often has a hurricane or a tornado or like these super high mega winds come through? And of course, this is you're talking like in the medieval. It doesn't have to be medieval. It can be science fiction too. You get on an alien planet and there's these like super high winds from created by like multiple moons on this frozen wasteland of a world or whatever. But even in Dungeons and Dragons, you can have weather effects with super high winds. And of course, you want to foreshadow it. You want to have the players have a choice, right? So, have them a choice, give them a choice to hold on to something or to brace themselves. Hey, you have to spend a movement action to brace yourself. You have to spend a bonus action to make sure you don't fall down. Something like that. And then come up with the effects. One effect could be that anything done at range gets moved, 10 feet for every 10 feet it moves away from the character, right? So, hey, you go to throw a dagger and you throw the dagger 30 feet. Well, it gets blown 30 feet, or, you can even do 5-foot increments or whatever, right? So you throw it 30 feet, it misses, it will miss its target in a straight line by a 15-foot arc. Going to the west, right? So then a player character would, I want to pull out my scroll, use my scroll of invisibility. Okay, make a saving throw. Hold on to even be able to read this darn thing. Maybe Constitution or something like that, or a Strength roll, or even a Dex roll. And okay, you read your scroll of invisibility, and it rips out of your hand, and it gets snatched away, and it blows 60 feet away or something like that. Loose items that characters want to pick up. A character drops his sword and the sword gets blown down the street. Character tries to use his shield. Okay, you get a difficulty because that shield is damn near. It's like a wind focus. It's just going to snatch your arm off or something. They get ready to fight the enemy. The enemy itself, unless it's an air elemental, would be affected by the same thing. And everyone's trying to hold their helmets on their heads. Their cloaks are getting whipped around them. This might be an opportunity, segue house rule. When rolling for random effects, one idea is to use charisma as the quote-unquote luck stat, so that charisma doesn't become a dump stat. You can use a charisma save and say, hey, okay, everybody's going to roll a charisma save. And that is your ability to resist having the effects of bad luck, right? So shingles get ripped off of rooftops, wood slats get ripped off of houses, tree branches get, blown down or something. And hey, you have to make everyone, or just have everybody roll a die. Everybody roll a 20-sided. Whoever gets the lowest roll, you're affected by some kind of wind effect, whether it's debris, whether something gets pulled off of your body, something like that. You can have extreme detrimental effects, right? So you can say, well, everyone's at disadvantage in attack because you're trying to hold on. Or you can do with the choice, if you do an all-out attack, sure, you get your regular bonus, but hey, you're going to get a wind effect, right? Or, but if you spend one of your combat actions to stabilize yourself, you won't have to make those saving throws. Anyway, high winds can be complicated because you come up with things. So I did this in another video. I like to rely on my D4s and D6s. So an example would be, I would have, the D4 would be a difficulty, right? So in this, the fighter is attacking the ogre and it's in the middle of a hurricane, and I have everybody roll a D20 at the beginning of the combat round. Oh, the fighter rolled a 2. Okay, you're going to be under the effects of a wind effect. I'll grab a D4, maybe a D6. I grab a D4, roll a 3. I go, okay, you're going to be at -3 because slats are ripped from a house and they start pelting into you. They're not doing you any damage or whatever, but they are absolutely affecting you from your attack against this ogre. What are you going to do? And then the player character can say, well, you know what, I can't see, and these things are pelting me. I'm just going to take a defensive action to hold my longsword and my shield and just try to dodge away from the ogre or something like that, right? And then you can even do damage effects where, the player characters have to roll their dex or their constitution. And if they don't make their roll, they take, 1d4 damage, or they fall down and they are at -1d4, or you make a roll and you lose 1d4 items out of your backpack. Your cloak gets ripped from you, something on your pouch leaves and your backpack opens up and something random falls out of it, right? You can do something like that. At the end of the thing, could they recover those items? Sure, why not? Maybe, if they can find them, sure. Let the players do that if they want to. They fought hard to get that cloak of elven kind, so, give it back to them if you want to, but, let things fall away. So high winds can be real dramatic. Hurricanes, tornadoes. Tornadoes are really powerful. It can be combined maybe with a spell effect, maybe someone called an air elemental or something like that. And, just have it lay down the law, just destroy everything in the neighborhood. Severe effects on characters that are like levitating or flying. Player characters that have like flying familiars, you might have to put them in a pocket. Take that small bird or that owl and have them fly away or something. Or maybe even foreshadow the effect and just say, hey, my owl's got to fly. Your owl flies away. You're like, what? It's my familiar. You can't take my familiar away. Like, familiar tells you of a storm coming, and will probably die if it's in a hurricane or a tornado. So anyway, environmental effects, just trying to bring back some of that environmental power. You can always, if you want to, you can combine that with a blizzard or fog or haze or smoke or something like that, just to make things worse. So anyway, foreshadow the event. Let them choose how to mitigate the effects by either giving up an attack, giving up movement, reducing their movement down to like half or less, and then the effects. Do they take damage? Do they lose items out of their backpack? Does something get snatched out their hands? What effects does it have? Wood and debris flying through the air, do they suffer damage from this if they miss their saving throws? Those kind of things. So anyway, using wind in your game, and just kind of bring back that magic of the environment. Anyway, DBJ, and I'm out. Thanks, guys.